Let's talk a little theory here. So we have calculated the mean from these 60 countries, right, per capita, so by person. Does that mean that this value here is the average income of someone in the world, so or in these 60 countries? And can we use this to then we'll call it extrapolate, take this value and then apply it to other places? So is this the same as saying that the average GDP per capita is 21,000? The answer is no, it is not, because not all countries are the same size. Right? So we have Singapore is a very small country, it's a bigger country. So these countries are not the same size, and so these values here, which are being represented as their local averages, you cannot take the average of these averages and then say that is the global or the value for the population. Okay, so if you get a question, can you take the average of a column of data like this that's done by category, can you take the average GDP by country and use that to say it's the average of an individual person? That is not true. You cannot do that. Okay? You cannot take the average of this column and have it be the average of someone in the world. That's not what this data is showing us. Let me show you a couple other things that are really nice about using the Excel stat package. If we go back to our histogram, and we want to look at this data, we can add a subsample, and we're going to do a subsample of WTO status. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Histogram. Okay. And it's going to give us information on both of our little samples. So there's two kinds of variables here. There's member and there's observer. 6 countries are observers, 54 countries are members. And we can look now at these values and see if they are similar or different. Specifically, let's look at the mean. So the average of a member country is 22,169. The average of an observer country is 14,350. So there's a clear difference here. Their spread is higher for the member countries, so this number is bigger than this number. But we have this question still of, like, are they statistically different from one another? And we will learn how to answer that question. The first thing I just wanted to show is that we can break it out by something like member and then start to get interesting results, right? So we have 2 histograms. It made one for the members, one for the observers. We could do the same thing. So I'm going to go back and histogram, instead of have it do by member or non-member, let's change the subsample. So I want to do it by the Fitch Outlook. So there are 3 values here. The outlook is negative, the outlook is positive, the outlook is stable. And this is the GDP per capita for negative, GDP per capita for positive, GDP per capita for stable. And again, we can see that these values are different. These means are different. And we will learn later on how to test to see if that difference really matters. But what's nice about this Excel stat package is that we can easily start to bring things out. So if we only cared about places where there was a positive outlook, then we would be looking at these 10 countries, and this would be our information, right? and this is different than the overall everybody population. So it is taking a smaller group from the data that we have. And we can do it by any kind of category we want. We use WTO status the first time, the Fitch Outlook. We could do it for this, but there's so many different categories. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll try it. This is useful when you have a couple of subsets, but if everybody's in their own category, it's not going to be as useful. We'll see. All right. So there are 16 different categories. There are not many in each of the categories. So there's only one A, there's only one AA, and one AA plus. So these averages here are not representative of a lot of different observations, just a couple. Excel stat will give us a histogram for each. Let's do one last thing. We can do a box and whisker plot that we talked about in class. So we'll go to describing. Visualizing data. Let's go back here. Insert. That's a box and whisker plot. And we needed to tell it before we started what we were doing. This column of data. Now insert box and whisker. All right. And this is for this group of data. You can see that our high value, our low, and our inner quartile range is the blue. So 50% of the observations are between 10,000 and about 33,000. You can see our mean, and you can see the median value there. The median, that's our mean, is the little x, what we have here. And we can do the same thing, I believe. If we do it like this, we can get more than one. Yeah, I don't remember how to do that. So, not required. That's a box and whisker plot that you can make in Excel.